Richard Zven Kruspe is a German musician and guitarist of the German Neue Deutsche Härte band Rammstein, as well as the frontman of the band Emigrate. Early life: Richard Zven Kruspe was born in Wittenberg, East Germany. He was originally given the name Zven Kruspe, but changed his name to Richard under the belief that everyone should be able to change their name. He has two older sisters and an older brother. His parents divorced when he was young. His mother remarried, but he did not get along with his stepfather. They moved to the village of Wiesen when he was young. Because of the poor relationship with his stepfather, Kruspe often ran away from home in his early teens and slept on park benches. He later got into wrestling as a way to channel his anger. At the age of 16, Kruspe and some friends visited Czechoslovakia, where he bought a guitar. He had originally planned to sell it, because they were very expensive and thought he could make a nice profit. However, once he returned to East Germany, a girl at a campground he was staying at asked him to play. He told her that he couldn't play, but she kept insisting, and Kruspe got mad and started strumming the strings. "The harder I played," Richard said, "the more excited she got. Something clicked in my head and I realized girls like guys who play guitars." This got him interested in playing the guitar, and as a result, he began playing every day and night for the next 2 years. Career: in 1989, bored with the apathetic music scene in his hometown, he moved to East Berlin and lived on Leitch in a straw and made music all day. For 2 years, Richard lived in an apartment with a drum kit and a guitar, and he made music by himself because he did not know anybody there. It was a lonely time according to Kruspe, but he used it to explore music. On October 10, 1989, before the fall of the Berlin Wall, he was riding through the subway. When he came above ground, he found himself in the middle of a political demonstration. He was hit on the head and arrested just for being there, and thrown in jail for 6 days. Once out of jail, he decided to leave East Germany. Because of the Eastern Bloc, he entered West Germany through Hungary. When the Berlin Wall came down, he moved back east of Berlin, Germany. Rammstein was formed back in 1994 when Kruspe, who lived with Riddle and Schneider at the time, was looking for a new band in which to create a new style of music. He had left his first band, Orgasm Death Gimmick, in search of new bandmates. Personal life: Kruspe married South African actress Karen Bernstein on October 29, 1999. The ceremony was Jewish and Kruspe composed the music for it. He took on the name Richard Kruspe Bernstein during their marriage. Sometime in 2001, he moved from Berlin to New York to live closer to his now ex-wife Karen. They separated in 2004. His name is now back to its original Kruspe as the divorce was finalized. In 2011 he left New York because it is not the right environment for the next part of my life, and moved back to Berlin. It was also at this time that Richard announced he was becoming a father for the 3rd time. He has a daughter, Kyra Lee Lindemann. Her last name is Lindemann, because her mother was previously married to Rammstein lead singer Till Lindemann. Kyra's mother kept the last name Lindemann when she divorced. Later, she and Rammstein guitarist Richard Kruspe had Kyra. The two never married, leaving Kyra with the last name of Lindemann. His son Merlin Ezra Besson was born on December 10, 1992. Richard's second daughter, and third child, is Maxime Alaska Bossier. She was born September 28, 2011. Her mother is Margot Bossier, bassist of the all-girl NY punk band Dirty Mary. According to his ex-wife Karen, one of the reasons for their divorce was an affair between Kruspe and Bossier, her best friend at the time. Bossier was involved in the recording of Emigrate's debut album. She and Kruspe seem to have had an on-again, off-again relationship over the years. He speaks fluent English and sings in English for Emigrate. His favorite bands are Kiss, Black Sabbath, Big Black, AC/DC, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Suicidal Tendencies, Pantera, and Depeche Mode. Equipment: the dates show when Richard used his equipment during his Rammstein tours, in exception to the ESP Emigrate Eclipse. Guitars: Richard's main instruments for touring are ESP guitars, but has used different guitars in the past. ESP-RZK1 Richard Kruspe signature electric guitar dropped C tuning during the raised A, standard, dropped D, and dropped C tuning for the Liebest für alle Dar tour. Richard also has another RZK model that has a custom paint job for the video of Victor Derwy. This guitar was also featured in the LIFAD 2009 Euro 2010 tour. ESP Limited RZK 600 the limited version of the RZK1. Richard possibly does not use this one, but it is a more affordable model of the RZK1. ESP RZK2 titanium and custom burned finish. Seen in the music video for Pussy, based on the ESP RZK1, with an USA Eclipse body, and 24.75-inch neck, ESP KH2 Kirk Hammett signature, ESP KH4, ESP EC1000, ESP Truckster has customized Emigrate-themed decals. Can be seen in the music video for My World, ESP Eclipse ICTM electric guitar, ESP Custom Maverick guitar, ESP 901 Richard's main guitar before switching to the ESP Kirk Hammett signature models, eventually being used for alternate tunings or as a backup, ESP AW500 Cosy signature electric guitar, Fender Stratocaster used rarely, Takamine EF341 SC acoustic guitar used for loss, Gibson J200, standard D, Gretsch White Falcon used for cleans on Emigrate and prop guitar in the video for Mine Land, ESP EC50 used as a prop guitar. In the video for Man Gegen Man, amplifiers MISC for over 2 decades, Richard's main amplifiers have been a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier, using the Revision C, or Blackface, versions on almost every Rammstein album to date. Most of the rack-mounted units and pedals he uses are not listed. Rath amp amplifiers several sources claims he has used Rath amps. Mesa Boogie dual rectifier Rector Reborn redesigned dual rectifier introduced in 2010. Richard's main amps live. Mesa Boogie 2-channel and 3-channel dual rectifiers heads. He owns 3 Voodoo amps modified 2-channel and 5 Voodoo modified 3-channel dual rectifier heads. Earliest known footage of him using Mesa Boogie equipment is during a Rammstein performance at the 1996 Bazaar Festival, where a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier 4x12 speaker cabinet can be seen behind him, on top of a Marshall 4x12 speaker cabinet. He also owns 2 stock pre-500 Reverend F Blackface dual rectifiers, which are used for recording purposes and early live performances. Marshall and Mesa Boogie 4x12 cabinets. Used both cabinets at the beginning of his career, but eventually phased out the Marshall cabinets. For recording, Richard prefers an original 1992 dual rectifier cabinet. Soldano Decatone head can be seen in the studio during the Liebest für alle Dar recording sessions. Soldano Avenger 100 head can be seen in the studio during the Liebest für alle Dar recording sessions. A known Marshall head can be seen in the studio during the Liebest für alle Dar recording sessions. TC Electronic Nova Delay, Digitech Whammy, Roland JC120 Combo, Dunlop Crybaby DCR2 Steradians Rackwire with DCR1 FC foot controller, SIT Richard Z Kruspe signature strings. Note, Richard does not use a Tech 21 PSA1. References. External links, Richard Kruspe at the Internet Movie Database, Emigrate at ramimages.com, English, Rammstein official website, German, Rammstein official website, English, Emigrate official website, German, Emigrate official website, English, richardkruspe.com, Turkish, Turkey fan website.